Welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Energy Podcast. We are back. We're back with another episode. I'm just chilling, holding the mic because why not? Then I can just sit back, relax, talk to you guys. I feel like we're becoming best friends at this point because, if you're watching on video, we're just chilling in my office together. Like, this is very chill vibes. Like, we are literally becoming friends at this point. But today, I am recording an episode on how I hire, who I hire, hiring out of my programs, because that was one of the episodes that you guys has requested was hiring. So what does that process look like? Now, for many of you, I teach hiring once you're at the six-figure level. So once you've hit six figures, you're at six figures, you're scaling past six figures, that's when we talk about hiring. And the reason being is because I don't think that you need a team before six figures for the most part, right? And I say that meaning like a reoccurring team. So sure, maybe you're going to hire a contractor or a one-time service, or someone to help you do something in your business that's maybe one time. Maybe you're even going to have like a virtual assistant who's going to do some like odds and ends tasks for you, but it's very, I would say, like intermediate or like the intro to hiring, right? Once you get past six figures, then we're going to talk something about like hiring an operations manager, an admin assistant, someone who's more like full-time in your business who can support you, maybe co-coaches, maybe like a social media manager or agency. And so I don't teach this until you're at the mastermind level. And the reason being is, again, you don't really need a team before six figures. And it's easy to hire contractors because you find someone who's within your budget, who performs the service you want them to provide you, and you pay them and they perform the service, and that's it. So before I hit six figures, I didn't really have a team. I had hired one-time contractors for funnels, web pages, sales pages, landing pages, like different odds and ends tasks, but never like reoccurring team members until I hit six figures. And then since then, I've consistently had an operations manager and a social media agency on my team, because those were my two hires. I've had a copywriter on my team. My co-coach, one of my co-coaches, we're hiring for our second now. So we're growing the team consistently now that we're at that multi six-figure level. And I'm not talking my agency here. So my agency, that model looks very different versus my coaching business. So I'm going to kind of break down both of those. But what I've talked about so far has just been for my coaching business. And the reason it's different is because obviously if you're running an agency model as a service provider, you have to have teams. So even if you're not at the six-figure level as an agency, you need team. And so the way that we do that, and I run my agency very lean, very simple, is I have a project manager and OBM on the team. And she is certified as a project manager OBM, and she takes our high level clients who need a project manager or an OBM or that higher level thing, right? They need those higher level services. So she does that. And then I'm the CEO of the agency. And so I no longer take contracted clients. I just run the agency from a very high level perspective. So I onboard clients. I get them set up with a team member. I take care of invoices and contracts, and then anything that our agency members need. And then I'm kind of like the in-between person, but I do a lot of just like high level managing. I don't micromanage our team. I allow them to do their thing. We hire very well-trained people in the United States who are certified as DOOs and OBMs and project managers to be able to take on their own client roster without me having to really intervene. And then every week or every other week, they send me their timesheet. They send me a breakdown of what they've done. Every 90 days, I request that they give me a report on the client, what's working, what isn't working, what do you think needs improved, where can we improve, where can our team improve, and then I also ask the clients for feedback every 90 days. What's working, what isn't working, what do you enjoy, what do you not enjoy about working with our team? So every 90 days, I'm checking in with the client, I'm checking in with the team, and then I'm sending out contracts and invoices and consultations for the agency. And that's really it. Then we also have virtual assistants on our team. Again, everyone we hire is in the United States. We pay fair wages. We actually pay way above fair wages for all of our team members. They're paid anywhere from $25 to $85 an hour, because I want people on our team who are very, very skilled, who are self-led, who are certified, who don't need a lot of hand-holding, and they know most of the industry. They know platforms. They know what to do once they get into a client's business, and I don't have to intervene at all, basically. Then we have Courtney on our team. She's the DOO. She provides systems setups and system management to our agency team. So we've got virtual assistants, OBMs, VAs, and systems and project management. So that's kind of like what my agency looks like. So how did I hire them, right? So Courtney, I have known since 2016. We both were in business, started business around the same time. We were both virtual assistants at the same time, and we had worked together in each other's businesses. Throughout the years, Courtney has then hired me as her coach. She's gone through like my courses, I think like every program I've ever dropped. She's currently a student in our academy. She is a mastermind client. She's done, I believe, one-to-one coaching with me, and she's also in coach school, and she's also my operations manager. And then she also does systems and setups in our agency. So she's a very intricate part of my business. And I hired her because we had built a relationship. We're friends at this point, and we get along. She's really good at her job. And so it was just an easy no-brainer hire. Ebony, who is our project manager on our agency side, she came through Academy in 2021. And I love her. I don't know. I just loved her, and she's good at her job, and she's good at what she does. And so when our agency was looking for an OBM project manager, it just felt like a no-brainer to hire her. And for me, it's really important to hire women, to hire mothers, to hire diversity in all of the things that I do. And so our agency specifically works with men and men of color. That kind of just happened, actually. That was not like something I had planned. When I opened our agency, it was for wedding professionals, and men just gravitated to me and they started referring each other. And now we have a full roster of men of color, which is so, so cool, because how cool is it to work with men in the wedding industry? Like, that's not a norm. And then to work with men of color too. So our team is diverse as far as like color goes, because I think that's very important. And then I also think it's important to hire people out of my programs, people who have hired me, people who have trusted me to coach and mentor them, to then hire them onto my team, right? Because I know them. We've built a relationship. I trust them. They trust me. They've poured into my business and I'm pouring into theirs. And it just feels right, in my opinion. And it's the easiest way for me to hire because we've built real relationships. And that's the kind of people that I want on my team. So my agency is, again, it's run very lean, very easy, very simple. Clients come to me, they book a consult, I get on the call, I give them a contract and an invoice, they sign, I pair them with who's the best fit on the team. They move working together. We do an onboarding call, all of us. I then move the team member into their business. The team member leads. I do check-ins every 90 days and contract renewals every 90 days. And that's about it. It has been self-sustaining since 2017, 2018, and been making six figures for a while now. And it's just an easy business model for me. So when I then moved into coaching, I've worked with tons of service providers because, again, I was a service provider. I was a VA, then an OBM. I run an agency. And so for me, I completely understand what service providing is. I have a lot of information on service providing, and helping service providers not only build and grow their business, but then move into coaching is like one of my biggest skills and specialties, because that was me, right? Like, it's really easy to coach people when that was you. And so moving into the coaching side of things, when I first started coaching, I was coaching service providers. And so I have met a lot of service providers. And so one of the service providers that came through Academy, Jenny, was our copywriter, and we have worked together and done many projects together. And I absolutely love her. I think she's an excellent copywriter. If I were to ever do ads, I would probably hire Jinzea, who came through Academy, and she is an ads specialist. I don't run Facebook ads. I might in the future. I have no idea. I just have not ever had interest, because I've grown two multi-six-figure businesses organically, and it's felt really good to me. And I don't really understand the ads world. Ebony, again, who came through my program, I hired her in my agency. Courtney came through the program. I've hired her in all of the things in my business. Heather, who's one of our coach school clients, is now our social media manager. Chelsea, who came through Academy, is one of our co-coaches. We're currently hiring for a co-coach, and more than likely that position will be filled by a current Academy student. And so for me, it's all down based on relationships. So first and foremost is when we build out applications for whatever position we're hiring, I'm immediately giving that application to all current and past students first, because we've built a relationship. I know how they work. I know their vision. I know their values. I know how they operate their business. And that's what matters most to me. And again, they trusted me, they hired me. And so why not give back to those people first and foremost? Now, how do I decide what that position looks like? How do I decide who I'm going to hire? So for me, it's always about the gaps in my business. And I consistently am looking at what is working in my business, what isn't working, what do I love doing, what am I good at, what has to be done, but I don't want to do it, what needs to be outsourced, what needs to be automated, what needs to be deleted in my business, because there's a lot of things that business owners do. And I've been guilty of this many times, of doing things that don't move the needle, that actually aren't important, that are useless in my business. And so those things need to be deleted. There's also been a lot of things that needed to be automated in my business. And thank God for Courtney, who has put many, many automations in our business, because I was doing a lot of manual things. And so we have now automated most of our business, which has been amazing. And then there's things that need done on a daily basis. So pitching me to be a guest expert in other people's programs or communities, pitching me to be on people's podcasts, getting people on my podcast and getting that all set up and done, making sure that all the replays are going to the podcast, making sure all replays from our calls are going into the client's portal, making sure that we're doing back and forth communication with guest experts that come into our programs, payments, making sure that payments failed are being paid, making sure that clients have what they need. That is all Courtney, right? Those are all the things in my business that are extremely essential to my business, but I hate doing them. I don't want to do the back and forth. I don't actually have time for the back and forth. And me spending that time on that back and forth is taking away from me doing things in my business that make us money. So spending time with clients, coaching, selling, making new relationships, showing up to be a guest expert, showing up to be on the podcast, right? Like those are the things that matter, is me showing my face, me being creative. Those are things I love to do, me coaching, me being in front of clients, and me selling. Those are the most important things for me to do in my business consistently. So then where do those gaps need filled? So for me, I love to be able to create content, and then for our social media team to be able to then put that to the places, right? So like I can record a podcast episode, it's going to go on the podcast, but then that video is going to be repurposed to a reel, and we're going to post on social media about the podcast, and we're going to put that in the email, and we're going to talk to other people about it, and we're going to put it maybe on TikTok or whatever that would look like. But that one piece of content that maybe took me 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes is then going to be repurposed to all the places, and my social media manager can take care of that, and I don't have to worry about it, right? Because that's not a good use of my time, is to sit and spend hours repurposing content when I could pay someone, $600, $700 a month, and then she's going to do that for me, right? So for me, it's worth the time exchange. And I have to, as a CEO, be very mindful of my time, because I have to do what's important first. What's a priority first? Clients, always clients, community, conversations, content. Those are the 4 things that I'm consistently worried about as a CEO. And then my team fills in the gaps for the other things. Hiring a co-coach. So what that came down to was hiring a co-coach that has a specialty that I don't have. So for Chelsea, her specialty being project management, time management, and productivity and procrastination, allowed us to bring in someone inside the program who has a different specialty and style of coaching than me. I'm very business and mindset heavy, and she's very heavy in those other areas I just mentioned. And so bringing her into our programs allows our students to get 2 coaches for the price of 1, allows our students to learn from 2 different coaches and 2 different coaching styles. It allows our students to have more hands-on support. It also allows our students to get 2 different perspectives, because she's really good at what she's good at, and she comes from the consulting world and having her bachelor's or master's degree, and I come from no college, and I come from being certified in the life and mindset and that type of business area. So her and I have 2 different coaching styles and 2 completely different expertise. And so it made sense to bring someone in to support our students in a way that I couldn't support them and give them more access to coaches. Us hiring a second co-coach has come down to the fact that Chelsea is going to be on maternity leave, as well as having more support in Slack coaching. Because I, as the CEO who's running multiple businesses, who works 2 days a week, I want our students to always be supported all day, every day. Like I want them to always have project audits back within 24 hours. I want them to consistently being coached in Slack every single day, so that no matter when you post in that day, you're going to get a response from our team within 24 hours, or within our office hours, you're being responded to. And so it just made sense to pull in another coach in that area. So it's kind of how I decide what needs to be hired in my business. And then I also decide one-time projects. So do one-time projects need done? I'll bring someone in for a one-time project. I'll hire them, they'll do it, I'll pay them, and they'll go on their way? Is this a long-term person that I need to keep? And then the other thing I think about is KPIs and metrics and ROI. So like a return on an investment. So for me, our social media manager, like let's say she's paid $650 a month, and her job is to make sure that we book one client in coach school per month, right? So if we get one person to book in coach school per month, that means, let's see, I'm doing some quick math, that we just made three times her investment. So I pay her $650. She just booked one client at $2,500. So we have now 3x'd her monthly income. So that's what's important to me, is that we're making sure that we're getting a return on investment. Same with Courtney. She's an operations manager. And so she is taking care of systems, day-to-day admin back and forth, but she's also booking me to be guest speaking, to be on people's podcasts. And so that, and collabs. So that's going to then get more leads into our business. And that's also going to get more clients into our business. So then we're looking at the return on investment of how much we pay her, right? So always want to look at, does this financially make sense as well? Is it filling the gap? Is it a good use of our time? Is it doing needle moving activities in our business? Is it getting us a return? So like, those are all the things I'm thinking about when I'm making hires. Then what I do is I go into Airtable, because I love Airtable, and I create an application, and we have templates for that. So if you're in the mastermind, you have templates for hiring, and we take applications. And out of all of those applications, we will then decide, and I say we because it depends. If we're hiring a co-coach, I'll likely pull in Chelsea for her feedback, because she is a co-coach in our program. She's going to be working alongside this other co-coach. I value her opinions. I value the opinions of my team, because I like to create a really good culture. So I, at the end of the day, will make the ultimate decision on what happens, but I do ask my team for feedback and what they think and what they see, because they're also spending a lot of time with our clients. They're also spending a lot of time in my business, and their opinions matter. And so the other thing that I'll then do is we'll decide the top three, and then those top three people will be asked to do a test project. Test projects we pay them hourly based on whatever the hourly rate is. So if we're paying $25 an hour, they're going to get paid $25 an hour for the test project, and we just put a limit, like this should only take you 3 hours. So we're going to pay you up to 3 hours for this test project, and we're going to give them a test project that is based on whatever that task is. So like for co-coaching, we're going to have them coach someone for 30 minutes live in a call. And we're also going to give them fake Slack messages that they need to reply to, because that's literally what they would be doing in that role. For Courtney, I had her like pitch a podcast and do some other things that were like admin wise to do as a test project. From those test projects, I then decide who is the best fit for this role. Now, sometimes I'll hire someone because I really like them and their values and that they're hardworking, knowing that I can teach them. Like I can teach them anything. I can teach them how to coach. I can teach them anything that I need in my business, but I really like their values. Sometimes I hire someone who's really good at their job, who I don't have to handhold at all, and they're just going to come in and do their job, and we're going to call it a day. I make those executive decisions based on kind of the season we're at in our business, what I feel like is the best fit. And it's always going to come down to culture. Like the culture of our team is really important. The culture of our clients is really important. So if someone's really good at coaching, but they don't share the same vision or values as me, that's not going to be a good fit for a co-coach. If someone's really good at coaching, but they don't take care of my clients the way I would, not a good fit, not happening. And so I always wanted to kind of weigh in between those things. Then we'll make our final decision. We'll send out an offer to whoever we're going to hire and get them onboarded and trained, and then do a 90-day period of training and getting them fit into the business before they're like off and rolling. And during that 90-day holding period, we typically wait and don't tell candidates that they have not gotten the position, because within those 90 days, if this doesn't end up working out or it's not a good fit, we're likely going to hire one of those other people. So that is kind of how I hire. That is how I hire, I should say. And then depending on like how much I pay people, it all depends on a few things. So if I'm talking about the agency, it's going to be determined based on their role, how long they've been in the company, because I am offering pay rates and raises to people. If they're a subcontractor and they have their own subcontractor rates, I'll take that into consideration. And then what our contracts are with our clients, because obviously our agency has to take a profit margin or it doesn't make sense, but I'm not going to gouge clients and I'm not going to underpay staff. So I have to balance between those things. When it comes to hiring for coaching in my coaching business, we start everyone out around the same rate, which is about $25 an hour with room to grow. And the reason I did that is because it's way, way, way above like the average pay of places you could go get a job at. You get to work at home, you get to work from your phone, you have flexible hours, and it's really good pay, in my opinion. Again, with as time goes on, you're paid more. So Chelsea's paid significantly more than that. But she is like a key asset to our business. And so that is how I determine. And then also it's based on like my own budget, right? Because I have a budget in my business for how much I can afford to pay staff. And I don't ever want to underpay staff or to be put in a position where I can't pay staff. And so I have a monthly budget of how much I can pay my team. And that is how I decide who to hire, when to hire, how to hire, all of the things. I hope this was super helpful for you guys. If you are considering hiring, I would love for you to come over to Instagram at @itstaydaniels_LLC. Tell me who you're hiring and why you're hiring and any questions you guys have about hiring. As always, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will chat with you on the next episode.